It's time for another edition of Lewis at Large, 60 minutes of smart talk radio featuring guests from all walks of life in conversation with your host, Warner Lewis. So sit back and lend us your ears for the next hour. Now here with today's first guest is the host of Lewis at Large, Warner Lewis.
Well, welcome everybody to another segment of Lewis at Large. Yours truly, Warner Lewis from the flight deck, and of course that means some smart talk radio is in your future. And today is certainly no exception. We are so pleased to have with us one of the entertainment industry's most respected performers, Academy Award nominated Broadway star Theo Bikel. He just celebrated his 90th birthday, 75 years of that in show business. He has a new memoir out. There's a new documentary film out. We are so pleased to have you here. Mr. Bikel, Theo Bikel, how are you, my friend?
Fine, thank you. Very good.
Good. Well, you have had not the luxury, but the joy and certainly the respect of audiences in the live theater, on screen, on television, and in the recording studio. And I'm just curious, as you look back on your career, was there a particular medium of all of these that was your favorite, or that you're the most comfortable, or do you just enjoy them all?
Looking back, I must say it's always the theater. It's always the theater. It's the stage, because it's really the granddaddy of the performing arts. You do theater, and in the theater has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It is live. It is there. If something is funny, the audience laughs. If something moves them, it's palpable. You can feel them being moved. The other media are fine, except you have to draw on your experience on the stage in order to bestride a movie screen. Look, you're working, let's say you're doing comedy on film. You're working for a laugh that may or may not come 8 months later. And you don't even know whether it will come. And with supreme confidence, you assume that it will come.
Right.
So your timing, your sense of timing, is what you borrow from the stage in order to figure out how long to pause before you say the next line.
You have performed around the world. Is Broadway, in your mind, as a stage performer, truly the special place? Is it Mecca, or is theater to you theater no matter where it is?
No matter where it is. No matter where it is. Sure, Broadway is Broadway. But, I've worked in the West End in England. I have also did summer stock. I did all kinds of theater, and it was always rewarding.
Take us back early. Share with our Lewis at Large listeners, if you would, what brought you into the performing arts.
I was. I didn't think I was fit for anything else.
Okay. You were again. You were born in Austria, raised in Palestine, and educated in England.
Yes.
That alone, I would think, would help you. Lots of things to draw from for you.
True, and that alone also indicates that I am a polyglot performer. I had to do this in several languages, and to this day, I consider myself a polyglot performer.
Do you, and again, because of you have seen so many wonderful productions come and go, you've probably seen bad ones come and go. Overall, are you optimistic about the future of live theater, pessimistic, agnostic, or somewhere in between all of those?
They used to call the theater the fabulous invalid, because they thought it was always on the brink of extinction. When films came in, they thought the theater would suffer. And then when television came in, they thought films would suffer. And they were wrong, because all three of them are thriving, each in its way. Theater is an experience that people do not want to give up. It is a communal experience. You like to sit with other people and experience it.
Well, if you just joined us, yours truly, Warner Lewis, from the flight deck of Lewis at Large Radio, in the middle of a wonderful segment here with world-known, world-renowned performer Theo Bikel, celebrating 90 years and 75 years of it in show business. There is a brand-new documentary, a brand-new autobiography called Theo, an autobiography. Theo, let's talk also. We cannot talk about the work that you've done without talking, of course, about your incredible passion and activism for civil rights and a variety of progressive causes around the world. Do they go hand in hand with you as a performer, or was this a passion that you had far before the theater?
With me, it's all part and parcel of the same thing. I am passionate about human rights. I cannot bear to see injustice. I hope that what I do in the arts furthers the cause of human rights. I do not do cheap, tawdry things that demean the nobility of the human spirit.
Where do you?
One does. You use the tools that you were given to do what you feel is right.
Talk to us again. Being born in Austria, I'm curious as to the writings that you do have about the Third Reich, and I'm very curious about that. I'd also like to hear your take on the McCarthy witch hunts of the 50s, both of which were extraordinary.
Well, when McCarthy witch hunt happened, I was living in England and working in England, and the victims of the blacklist, American actors, very often came to England to escape it, and they found in my home a refuge, which I gladly gave. When I came to America, which was in 1954, the McCarthy witch hunt was on the wane, and I barely escaped being on it. And frankly, I was offended, because I would have considered it a sign of honor to be on it.
When you, let's go to a little bit higher level here, is there something, I know for you personally, the progressive causes and political activism comes very natural to you. Many times the performing arts are associated with causes and activity just like what you've been involved in. Do you feel a special responsibility as a performer, and because you have a pulpit that many others do not have, to speak in that way?
You speak truth to power. Yes, I feel the responsibility. Always have, and that's why I was involved not only as a performer, but also as a union activist. I was president of the Actors Union for many years, and still am president of a umbrella organization, under which umbrella you find all of them. It goes hand in hand.
Did you?
For some people, that is anathema, as they say, that performers should perform and not talk about other things. I think that's cheap. That is a cheap argument.
Yeah.
I think a human being has to use all his faculty, all the faculties that are given in order to say and sing what he believes in.
In your career, you have marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. You're president of the Actors Equity. You're a board member of Amnesty International, as well as a member of the National Council of Arts. And I'm curious, political or professionally, was there ever retribution thrown at you as a result of your activities, do you think?
There may have been. You can't accuse a telephone for not ringing to offer you a job.
Right.
But by and large, I am lucky because I'm good in so many areas. So if in one area I was being disadvantaged, I could go to the other.
Well, I want to talk about television for just a minute. Then I certainly want to talk about the recording work that you've done. You spent, my gosh, you spent over 3 decades in television, a wide variety of roles from Shakespeare to Alfred Hitchcock to All in the Family. And I'm curious as to, as a purist, as an actor, how did you find the medium of television? I mean, you were there again for 35 years. At some level, you must have enjoyed it.
Well, television is a strange medium because not only do you have to be good, you also have to be fast. The time is short, and the budget demands that you do what you do and you do it quickly. Unlike film, where you sometimes used to spend months on a picture, we don't have that luxury in television. But you do it. You do it. I love doing comedy on television, for example. All in the Family was a prime example. Your inventiveness has to be right there on the surface. They used to say that a guy came to deliver coffee in Danish, and he watched the rehearsal and he made a suggestion, and they bought it. They thought it was so good. You use anything, including the coffee and the Danish.
Yeah, you do. What about? I'm curious. Television, as you're well aware, has come under tremendous criticism, especially from those, quite frankly, in the field of those that are actors from sort of a purist point of view. Conversely, over the last few years, television has had some extraordinary, not only documentaries but also some series. And some very special programming. I'm curious, do you feel optimistic about the future of television programming?
I do, because I watch some wonderful programming that comes not only from the United States, but also from England and other countries, and I really, I marvel at how good the stuff is that I can see.
What about, let's talk about, again, we're just in the interest of time, I'd like to move on and talk about your recording career. There you do have the luxury of time, you have the luxury of retakes. What got you into recording? Again, it seems like a natural outgrowth, but not everybody that's on the stage necessarily records. Is it the love of music? Was it the voice? What started you into the studio?
Well, it's the love of music, yes. And you find out, especially in America, that people want to hear. The music is wonderful because it's also so immediate. But then the people say, what a shame that my kids didn't hear this. What a shame that my mother didn't hear this. So he said, well, your mother can hear it if you make a recording.
Okay. Well, is there a particular? Again, you recorded 37 albums.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear? Oh, okay. You've recorded 37 albums. Is it possible to look back and say you had a favorite? Is that possible?
No. It's like saying to a guy who has 10 children, which one is your favorite in front of the kids?
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk again. There is a recently released documentary film also as well as the autobiography called Theo, an Autobiography. Tell us about that, and my gosh, with all of the professional work that you've done, and looking back on a life, where did you begin with the autobiography? How do you even know where to start?
Well, somebody said, you've lived such a rich life, you really should talk about it, write about it. And so one fine day I said, okay, I'll do that. But then you are faced with a task. An actor put his best foot forward. An autobiography is different because you have to look at your life and tell it with the warts and everything else. You tell the good and the mediocre. You tell the failures and the successes. An actor likes to talk only about the successes. An autobiography has to have the failures as well, such as they were. And my autobiography has had several editions that came out. The latest one this year, because the publishers wanted me to add a chapter looking at my life from the vantage point of a 90-year-old, which I did do, looking, as it were, at the inside, from the inside, before I looked at it from the outside. It's an interesting process, and I love doing it, and I'm confident that the autobiography depicts who I am and what I am accurately.
What was it? Did things come easily to memory, or what helped? Sort of. Again, you did worked in so many mediums over so many.
I remembered places. I remembered times. I remembered events. What I didn't remember well are numbers. What came before what? I often had to look myself up in order to get the time sequence right.
Okay. How about and you said you had to look certain things up. How proficient are you? How comfortable are you in front of a computer?
Fine, it's fine by me. I use it.
Okay, good.
I use it. It's one of the tools. I use a computer. I use an iPad. I use an iPhone. I'm quite comfortable using them.
What about, let's also talk about the documentary film that bears your name. Share with us, if you would, how does the biography work off of that and vice versa? Share with us a little bit about how the inspiration for all of that.
Well, the film is called Theodore Bikel, In the Shoes of Sholom Aleichem. Sholom Aleichem is, of course, the iconic Jewish writer,
right,
who created, on whose work Fiddler on the Roof was based. He created the character of Tevye in his writing, which, by the way, was much richer on the page than it is in the play and in the film. I have been part and parcel of, or he has been part and parcel of my life, Sholom Aleichem has. Since I was a small boy, my father used to read around the dinner table in Yiddish. And then afterwards, when the Nazis came and they confiscated all our things, including the books, which was the most grievous thing that they could have done, the books somehow miraculously followed us to Palestine, Israel now. And then when my father died, I decided to send the books to Amherst, Massachusetts, where they would find a loving and caring home. And then when I started to work on my play and on my film about me and Sholom Aleichem, I needed them again, and I called Massachusetts and said, "Can you let me have the books?" And they did. And the books arrived on my doorstep proving that books have legs.
Indeed, they do. What about, we're unfortunately, we're starting to run out of time here. I did want to ask you this. The first film role that you did was in The African Queen in 1951, and I'm curious, for Theodore Bikel, what were your feelings when you, number one, auditioned and got word that you had gotten the part? Tell us about your emotions then.
Actually, I didn't audition. I was in a play with Peter Ustinov and John Huston, who was doing The African Queen at the time and had shot all the stuff in Africa and was doing the interiors in England, came to see it, and he asked me whether I could do a German accent, and I said, "Oh boy, can I do a German accent?" And that was the extent of the audition, and I got the part.
When you saw yourself on film for the first time in a theater, what was that like for you?
I said, "Who is that dark man?"
Okay. Well, boy, we could go on and on here. A true genius indeed. Theodore Bikel, a brand new documentary out, a brand new autobiography. Theo, how can people get a hold of a copy of each one? How can they get this?
The autobiography is called Theo, easy to remember if you know my name. It is on Amazon. It's in the bookstores. The publisher is the University of Wisconsin Press. That's that. The documentary, Theodore Bikel in Shoes of Sholom Aleichem, is showing in various festivals all over the country. It started in San Francisco. It will be in Atlanta. It will be in Palm Beach and in Palm Springs and in at festivals in New York and in Boston and Chicago. You name it. You will see it announced.
All right. You just turned 90, and you've been in show business for 75 years. What the next 10 to 20 years, what are you going to be doing?
Well, when I turned 90, somebody asked me, now that you're 90, what do you have to look forward to? And I said 91.
Okay. All right. We're just going to take it a year at a time for right now. Do you have, again, you've just done the documentary, you've done the book. Is there another project in the works?
Yes. I've done a lot of translations, and I'm going to collect them and collate them and publish them. I have other things in the works as well. And I have certain recordings that I'm doing, audio recordings and video ones as well.
Well, how about this? Why don't you take a little time to enjoy yourself as well, although I know it's all a work of love for you, so wonderful. Theodore Bikel, thank you so much for the decades of extraordinary entertainment and performance art that you have given to all of us, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will be back with more right after this on Lewis at Large.